Well, good afternoon. Thank you for assembling as quick as you have assembled. I'm sure, as everyone is aware through social media so far, we are now under a boil water notice. Actually, that's mandatory throughout the entire city. Anything that you have heard related to a specific sector of the city or anything else, that's not true. If you're anywhere in the city of Midland, you need to be boiling your water. We're going to get into some more details here with Carl Craigo with our utilities department and Whitney Craig with our health department. But let me just first say thank you to many people who have already started working on how we're going to handle this situation. We have distribution points that are being set up. We'll let you know when those are going to be ready to go. We have 4 distribution points in the city. It will be the Martin Luther King Center. It will be First Baptist Church. It will be Midland College at the Shapp Center. And it will be Stonegate Fellowship. Again, we will let you know more than likely through social media so you guys can pick that up as quick as possible where people can go and get bottled water. And we'll keep you updated on that. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Craigo to give you the details of what's happened. But first and foremost, we're going to meet with you again this evening at 10 o'clock, get you updated. We'll have an update first thing in the morning. We should be even further down the line. And then we will continue to update you on the news cycles, whether it's at 10 o'clock, first thing in the morning, or noon again, because this will take some time. So let me stop with those opening remarks, and I'll hand it over to Mr. Craigo, and he'll give you some of the details of what's happening, some things to not be afraid of, and some things to be concerned about, and what you need to do. So, Mr. Craigo.
Thank you. Thank you again, Carl Craigo, Utilities Director. Yes, we're in a boil water notice. We had an issue starting Monday where we had a contractor hit a water line out at our 158 highway over by Grasslands, which put down the use of one of our water sources. And then in the evening, we had a mechanical and operator issue here at this plant, which failed to follow the proper protocols to keep the water the way we need to keep it. Let me keep in mind that the water is like lake water right now. So the water going through the plant will end up being pretty much like you jumped in a lake, but that's going to start washing through the plant over the next 24 hours so we get clear water back through it, which is what causes the boil water notice. What we're doing now to make sure that water gets in the plant is to make sure there's a pressure in the city to, if there's any fires, that the fire department can still put out fires. But keep in mind, boil water notice even means in your RO system, you still have to boil your water through the RO system. Do I have any questions?
Yes, some people had reports of no water at all. How many people don't have water, or will that water come back on?
The water will come back on. I don't know the exact number, but the west side of town, we have a ground storage tank that went below pump levels. That pump I just got a call a minute ago that it's back on, so they should be seeing water within the next hour and a half to 2 hours.
And you said you'd have an update tomorrow morning. Do you have a better timeline of how much water people should prepare for in the upcoming days?
We're looking that this is going to be a 2-day boil water notice. So hopefully midday Saturday, we'd be able to lift that boil water notice.
Do you have an idea on just how many households are without water right now?
I do not have that idea, no.
Any other questions? Whitney? And we'll be here if you think of a question after Whitney. If you want to ask Carl, we'll ask some more questions.
Hello, I am Dr. Whitney Craig with the Midland Health Department. There are a couple things that I want everybody to keep in mind in regards to health implications of the boil water notice. We are in unprecedented times when it comes to the usage of water, so make sure that when you are using water in a food establishment that it has to be boiled. If you do not have any water at all, if you are a food establishment, if you are in a business, you will need to close. If you are a restaurant, food establishment, you cannot use any fountain machines. Your pop, soda, teas, coffees will have to come from a bottled water, or if it is pop soda, it would need to come from bottle or can. And as far as the ice machines, you cannot use any ice in any of the ice machines that was created after the boil notice went into effect. If you are unable to differentiate what was made after the boil water notice went into effect, then you will just need to dispose of all of your ice. It is best practice to turn off all of the water that is going to your fountain machines as well as what's going to your ice makers. If you are going to go the route of boiling water, make sure that you boil your water for at least 1 full minute. If you have infants, make sure that you are not using the tap water or you are using bottled water or pre-made formula. As Carl mentioned, the RO systems also would be impacted by this, so you would still have to boil your water that comes through the RO system. Are there any questions?
What if before the boil water notice was put out, what if someone already drank water from like the tap water or from a fountain water, such as at a fast food restaurant? What would you recommend people to do if they've already drank in this water?
As Carl said, it's the same impact as drinking lake water. It's not something you want to do for a sustained amount of time, but it should not cause you any physical harm if you had a cup of it by accident. Any other questions?
All right, Whitney, let me step in. I'm sure you'll come up with other questions by 10 o'clock. Hopefully we'll have more news for you by 10 o'clock as well, more answers to your questions. First of all, let me give out an emergency phone number. That emergency phone number is 432-688-4160. Again, 432-688-4160. Stuart?
What's the name of the contractor that caused the leak over by 158?
The contractor, the prime contractor is J.D. King.
J.D. King, what was J.D. King doing over there?
They're working the the D.R. Horton new subdivision over there.
Did they have any clue that they were digging into a water line?
They should have, yes.
When they reported to you, did they say that they just, what did they say when they reported to you
That they hit the water line, yes.
Okay, and it caused, I think we have pictures of it causing like an 8 or 9 foot kind of
Tower of water coming
Tower
out of
of
the ground.
water
Yeah,
coming
millions of
out?
gallons of water.
millions of gallons?
Yes.
Okay, do you know specifically how much was lost?
We haven't ran those calculations. We've been trying to get it fixed, but we will by the time it's all done.
Okay, is there any initial cost estimates to what this may have?
That hit and the fix, I don't have an estimate right now. We'll put it together at the end and work with the contractor at that time.
Okay.
So again, a couple of things. I know I've already heard reports of runs on water at the grocery stores and at the big box stores. I just want to encourage everybody to be cognizant of your neighbors who are going to need water before we get these distribution points out all over town. I want you to get what you need to get, but also realize you have the opportunity to boil water for your usage when you're at home. You can boil water for your cooking. You can boil water for your drinking and so on and so forth. But just let's be aware of our neighbors as we're going through this process. It's going to be a difficult next 24 hours. I've been in conversation with the mayor in Odessa. We're working on them bringing us some water as well, as they have some experience in this particular event as well. Again, we're going to keep getting updated information to you. Be aware of what's going on social media and what we're updating. We'll have, again, a 10 o'clock update, then we'll have a morning update, and then a noon update, as long as we need to be updating and giving everybody the best information that we can give them. I have been told that out by the airport area, everything is good. I'm just going to tell you, even though people on the other side of the cameras aren't going to like this, I'm going to tell you, anywhere you are, just be careful. Just be aware and be careful. Keep your bottled water with you when you can. Again, the distribution points are being set up. The county is working on this. The city is working on this. We want to say thank you to all of our partners from Midland College, Martin Luther King, the First Baptist Church, and also Stonegate Fellowship, helping us with this. Hopefully we have areas covered, but even when you go to get water at a distribution point, again, you're going to need to get what you can get by with and realize we have neighbors on either side of us that are going to have to be taken care of as well. It's a situation that is really just unfortunate. I understand that, and that's an understatement. It's not something that was related to us not taking care of something at the water department. It was because of one incident that started a domino effect of issues, and now here we are. I don't think we've had a boil water notice in over 20 years here in this city, so it's a rare occurrence for us. Carl and his team have done what they needed to do. Now we all need to remember that same spirit we had during COVID, taking care of each other, supporting each other, and getting through this. The last thing I'll say before I take any last questions, don't anticipate anything rapidly changing until Saturday, because once the system is in trouble, then you have to flush the system till you get to what you need to have in the system. So be ready for fire hydrants to be flushing around the area and all these different things taking place. So with that, I'll take any other remaining questions until we get to 10 o'clock. Any other
I
questions?
have one question. I just want to clarify. So the break happened on Tuesday. It was hit. So for the past 48 hours, have people been drinking unsafe water?
No, people have not. When the break happened, that then began a process that has taken us to this point because of all the other dominoes that had to fall to get us here. So I assure you and affirm to you and promise you, we have not been hiding something. We have been watching this process occur, which brought us to where we are today to say now these dominoes have fallen and this is where we are and we've got to restack those dominoes.
Can we get an explanation of what happened at the plant again that was part of this process?
Yes, I do want to say one thing, because I don't think anybody has said this yet. Boil water notices for ingestion, so taking showers, it's fine. People can clean themselves. I don't think we've pointed that out. Here at the plant, what happened was we had a failure of a level indicator, and a level indicator is how much water is in our reservoir. It let our reservoir get down too low that allowed us to soak in dirty water at the very bottom. By the time they noticed that water had already made it into our treatment plant, which kept us from, the turbidity, I can't say, the cloudiness of the water is past the point of regulations, so that's where the boil water notice comes from.
Was it that somebody didn't notice it, or that a machine didn't tell them?
It was missed by a person, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And by the way, I want to tell you, I told Carl to avoid all the technical language, which is why he's been trying to find words to use correctly. So, because he speaks in this code nobody understands. Yes.
Is the state coming and
Yes.
helping out?
Yes, the state is aware. The county has already issued an emergency declaration. We as the city, I just signed an emergency declaration in the room adjoining to us. So the state is involved. Libby over at the food bank is helping us tremendously. The county emergency management is involved. So all the different places that need to be involved have been contacted. We've even had a phone call from Congressman Craddock's office to offer any help. And so everybody's engaged. Any other questions? All right, we'll see you at 10 o'clock downtown. Thank y'all. Does anybody need to have a follow-up on anything? We're good?
I'll send out the emergency number so you guys have that too. And the list.
additional questions?
Yeah, and the list of just
I might have
sending
a
all
couple.